We're on a mission to expose the destruction and beauty of our seas, and how if we do not change our ways, we will wipe out more than 70% of the world's marine biodiversity by 2050. We're teaming up with local dive centre Just You Dive to have a look at some of the most beautiful Dorset wrecks. We'll be looking at sunken tanks and one of the largest and most interesting wrecks of the south coast to discover the true beauty of the underwater world. Our first stop was Swanage, to the Kiara wreck off the bay. Due to powerful tides, you'll find yourself being thrown this way and that way when diving off the Kiara. Often you won't even be able to dive, as you have to pick the perfect time, otherwise you can be caught up. Having dived down to a depth of 30 metres, the wreck is teeming with life. Pollock, spider crabs and different forms of plant life exist upon the wreck's surface. Due to the tides, it was very hard to film, but we went off nonetheless with Typhoon Scuba Gear's salesman Nick to try and see what all the fuss was about.
Arguably, the most popular wreck on the UK coast is a few miles off Swanage Pier in Dorset. The Kiara was sunk by a German U-boat towards the end of the First World War. She was built in 1903 in Dumbarton, 126 metres or 415 feet long, and weighed nearly 7,000 tons. She was a passenger cargo vessel sailing between Australia and England. She was known as the ship that was made of brass. From stem to stern, the interior and exterior fittings were all solid brass, as were all the ship's doors. Divers have been attracted to the abundant marine life on her, and have also been recovering many artifacts, some of which can be seen at the local dive centre in Swanage. During the war, she helped to land Anzac expeditionary troops in the Dardanelles. In 1917, she became a casualty clearing ship. She was equipped with a 4.5-inch gun on her stern, but alas, this failed to save her against the U-boat attack on the 26th of May 1918.
The wreck provides a brilliant habitat for the marine life and allows them to keep their systems running. We decided to leave the Dorset coastline to have a look at one of the British Isles' most beautiful gems, Jersey. Famous for its dairy cows and its beautiful scenery, we thought it would be the best place to go and have a look at human impact on local wildlife, underwater and overwater. We travelled to Booley Bay on the northwest coast of Jersey to do some diving and to climb up some of the cliffs. Jersey's extraordinary. We travelled to Jersey to contrast the different marine life and the ways in which climate change and human impact would affect the local marine life in Jersey. We came across a massive variety of seaweeds and different fish life on the further side of the bay. Other things we found west of the bay included a variety of scallops, bass, lobsters and crabs, and it's an urban legend that seahorses are even found here. We're moving along the coast now to Lulworth, famous for its beautiful cove, to do some night diving, to search for different marine life, and to look for rare fish and scallops around the area. I'm diving with Piers Plowman, our support diver, and Henry, our rescue swimmer, who will be swimming along the rough sea above along the cliffs. We prep our kit for the swim outside the cove to have a look at some of the interesting marine life around the cove. Boats also possess a potential threat to our safety coming in and out of the cove, so we have to deploy our SMB to make ourselves known in the area. Having deployed our SMB, we follow the line down to 7 meters where we find the marine seabed which we're looking for. Visibility is quite poor and it's getting quite dark, so we have to be wary of where we're going. However, with our lights, we light up the atmosphere, making it a whole new world. Scallop divers are renowned in this area, being able to get up to £2 for a scallop they catch. But with rising fuel prices and marine impacts, scallop divers have been reduced. Marine life around Lulworth Cove is brilliant, ranging from hundreds of different species of seaweed to various types of fish and scallops. As we've gone in the evening, we've had the rare opportunity to drive down to the bay to unload our scuba gear and filming kit, and have found an absolute blind spot of beauty. There are many types of Dorset seaweed. The most famous include thongweed, bladderwrack and coralweed. Thongweed is a brown algae normally found in the lower zone of rocky seahorses where there is a lot of wave action. It is a northerly species found in the Atlantic and English Channel. The first year of growth is 2 centimeters across and can grow up to a meter in length. Various other types of seaweed are found along the Lulworth Cove as well. As we've mentioned, bladderwrack is also quite successful in growth around Lulworth Cove, and crabs are very attracted around Lulworth to the various types of seaweed. So overall, Lulworth is full of surprises, and Under the Waves holds immense beauty. But on a more serious note, Lulworth lies in the forefront of climate change, and human impact. If the temperature of the water increases by a mere 2 degrees, again the ecosystems will be left diminished and catastrophically destroyed.
My name's Steve Trewella. I'm an underwater photographer and conservationist based in Dorset. On a busy summer's day, this bay can have up to 300 boats anchored or moored within it. This causes huge pressure on a very fragile habitat, eelgrass. Eelgrass is important on many levels. It's a nursery area for many commercial species of fish. It binds the sediment together, saving this bay from in the seagrass, and the anchor will, as it's raised, will create a hole on the seabed, and the sand within the hole will become fluid, and they will erode from the inside out. So rather than the hole just simply growing over, the hole actually gets bigger. So you can imagine after one day of 200 to 300 boats throwing their anchors into the eelgrass, that's 200 or 300 holes per day, and this can happen on, on any decent summer's day. Boats do anchor here all the year round as well. There are also 51 moorings within the bay, which were all unregulated. The moorings were put down without the landowner's permission. Crown Estate own the seabed around the British Isles, and you are supposed to have a permission from the landowner to install the mooring. The moorings in Studland Bay were all put down without permission. Each one of those moorings has a large riser chain on it, and that riser chain will slap the seabed like the hands on a clock as the tide comes in and goes out, which causes erosion 365 days a year. So those anchor scars those mooring scars rather, can be 50 feet across, and the sand within them is just fluid. It never ever has chance to regenerate or regrow because the chain is constantly wearing it away.
South Dorset's seagrass meadows are home to one of the most elusive creatures of the underwater world, the seahorse. However, due to boat moorings and anchors destroying the seagrass meadows, the seahorse's habitat is being destroyed. The seagrass meadows is not only home to the seahorse. Crabs, fish, and tiny sea snails also live here. In 2008, the seahorse became protected by law. Steve Trewella, underwater professional dive photographer, has a license to take pictures of these beautiful, beautiful creatures and to raise awareness about the seriousness of the tragedy that's happening off Studland Bay. Despite contrary belief, seagrass is actually a flowering plant and not a seaweed. It grows in shallow and sheltered sunlit waters. A thick, matte bind of roots sets the sandy sea floor together, allowing a vibrant ecosystem to emerge. The seahorses are very secretive creatures. A lot of people don't realise that they are actually fish, not mammals.